Greetings. We are continuing with our lecture, that is branch accounting. Till now we already talked about how to prepare the branch account at cost price and at invoice price. In this lecture we are going to talk about another method under the dependent branches, that is stock and debtors method. In our previous lecture we discussed about how to prepare the branch account under the debtor system or debtors method. But before we proceed further, let me first explain you why this data system was not very comprehensive. Under the data system or debtors method, it is not possible to segregate the profit into two parts, that is gross profit and net profit. We were not able to calculate whether the profit which is shown in the branch account is gross profit or net profit. In branch account there was one more drawback under this system, that is debtor system or debtors method. We were not able to calculate the credit sales, we were not able to show the credit sales or bad debts, depreciation or all these items in the branch account. Normal loss or abnormal loss, if these two items are given in the question, then we are not able to depict these two items in the branch account. So under the debtor system there are many items which are not shown in the branch account. So the second method, that is stock and debtors method, which we are discussing today, this is a more comprehensive method. When the branch's turnover is sufficiently large and the branch makes credit as well as cash sales, an alternative method is adapted by the branches, and this method is known as stock and debtors system. The ledgers which are to be prepared by under this stock and debtors method are branch stock account, branch debtors account, branch expenses account, branch adjustment account, branch P&L account, and branch cash account. These are the accounts which are to be prepared under the second method, that is stock and debtors method. The first account which is prepared under this method, that is stock and debtors method. There are n number of accounts which we need to prepare under this method. The first account is branch stock account. This branch stock account, this account is real account in nature. It discloses whether there is any shortage on account of normal and abnormal losses or surpluses due to sale at more than the invoice price. This account is always prepared at invoice price. This branch stock account, this account is always prepared at invoice price, and this account depicts all the items which are related with the stock. If there is any item which is related with the normal loss or abnormal loss or any other item which is related with goods only, are to be shown in the branch stock account. So this is the format of the branch stock account, and as I have explained you that branch stock account is always prepared at invoice price under the method stock and debtors method. So this is the format. On the debit side, opening balance of the stock is shown. The next item which is here is goods sent to the branch. Again, this will be shown at the invoice price, and if some goods are returned by the customer to the branch, so because of this reason the branch stock is increased, and the entry would be, in this case entry would be branch stock account debit to branch debtors, and this entry is because of the reason that goods are returned by the branch customer. On the credit side, as you can see the cash sales are shown, credit sales, whether they are cash sales or credit sale. Because of these two sales, our stock is decreasing, and these are shown on the credit side of this branch stock account. So this is depicted with the name branch by branch cash. These are the cash sales. If they are credit sales, these are to be recorded in the branch stock account only with the name by branch debtors. If goods are returned by the branch or any customer, that has to be recorded on the credit side of this account only with the name goods sent to the branch. If any other item, for example, loss is given in the question, so how to treat the loss? So see, there are two type of losses, that is normal loss and abnormal loss. If abnormal loss which incurred due to fire or any theft, so that is treated as a abnormal loss. So how to treat the abnormal loss in the branch account? So basically you have to segregate that abnormal loss. If abnormal loss is given in the question, you have to segregate that part. For example, The amount of abnormal loss is given in the question 150. 100 is cost and 50 is loading part. So basically you have to segregate these items, that is abnormal loss. So load on abnormal loss will be depicted with the name by branch adjustment account, and cost part will be shown, will be transferred to the branch P&L account. So because of this, the entry would be branch adjustment account for the loading part and branch P&L account for the cost part to branch stock. Ultimately, the stock is decreasing because of any loss, whether it is a normal loss or abnormal loss. Both the losses will be shown on the credit side of this account, but you need to see if it is an abnormal loss, this has to be splitted into two parts, that the cost part and loading part. Loading part will be shown, will be depicted with the name branch adjustment account, and the cost part will be depicted with the branch P&L account. The next item is, which is shown here, is for normal loss. If normal loss is given in the question, then that has to be transferred, the entire amount. For example, normal loss is given in the question 150 and this is invoice price. So entire amount 150 would be transferred to the branch adjustment account. There is no need to segregate the cost part and the loading part. Whereas in the abnormal loss, we need to segregate the cost part and loading part. Loading part would be shown, would be transferred to the branch adjustment, whereas the cost part would be transferred to the branch P&L account, but not in the case of normal loss. If it is a normal loss, the entire amount has to be transferred, both loading part and cost part. The entire amount has to be transferred to the branch adjustment account. The last one is showing the decrease in profit due to sale of goods at less than invoice price. It might be possible, sometimes it happens that we sell the goods at less price than the invoice price. For example, the invoice price, the selling price is given 200, but because of some reason we have sold the goods for rupees 180, and because of this it is showing decrease in the branch stock account. If that is the case, that has to be shown on the credit side of this account, and at last it is given closing balance of branch stock. If closing balance of branch stock is given, that is okay. If it is not given, then balancing figure would be treated as a closing balance of this account. What if closing balance is also given and there is a balancing figure on the debit side of this branch stock account? If everything is given, that means your closing balance of branch stock account is given, and even after that there is a balancing figure on the debit side of this account, then that would be treated as surplus. And this surplus happened because of the reason the goods are sold higher than the invoice price. For example, goods are of rupees 200 and we sold these goods for 220. So there is a surplus. This will depict the surplus in the branch stock, and this will be shown on the debit side of the branch stock account. The next account which we prepare here is branch debtors account. So branch debtors account, it is a personal account in nature and it record all the items which are related with the debtors. So similarly, it is very simple account. It has nothing to do with this branch accounting chapter. This is prepared in the same manner as we prepare the debtors account. So branch debtors account, this is personal account in nature, and all the items which are related with the debtors are to be shown in the branch debtor account. So this is the format of branch debtor account. In this account, it begins with the opening balance of branch debtors. The next item is branch stock. So this depicts the credit sales. So these credit sales we have already shown in the branch stock account as well. There we have done the entry, that is branch debtors account debit to branch stock account, and this entry would be depicted in the branch debtors account as well. If there is any bill receivable dishonor, that has to be shown on the debit side of this account, and on the credit side, all those items which are reducing the balance of debtors, that is if they have given any cash paid by them, or we have given them any discount, any bed debts, any allowances or goods returned by them, if anything which is basically reducing the balance of the debtor, that has to be shown on the credit side of this account. So this is branch debtors account. At the end, you need to calculate the closing balance of the branch debtors if it is not given. If closing balance is given, any other item is not given in the question, we can find out that item. For example, if credit sales are not given in the question but closing balance is given, we can find out the credit sale by preparing the branch debtors account. The next item, the next account which comes here is branch expenses account. Branch expenses account, this account is nominal account in nature, and the balance of this account is transferred to the profit and loss account. How it is prepared? It is prepared in the same manner as we have prepared any kind of expense account. So this begins with the cash, if expenses which are paid by the branch expenses on the debit side. And the entry would be for the branch expenses. If it is given in the question that some expenses, branch expenses are paid by the branch itself, so definitely it is going to affect your branch cash. The entry would be in that case branch expenses account debit to branch cash. So it is shown on the debit side of this account. The next item is the expenses which are paid by HO. Any expenses which are paid by HO, head office, or expenses which are paid by branch itself has to be shown on the debit side of this account. The next item is branch debtors. It depicts the bad debts and discount which is given to the debtors. So basically these are the expenses of the branch. And these expenses we have shown in the branch debtors as well with the name branch expenses. And if there is a depreciation, if depreciation is given in the question, then that has to be shown on the debit side of the branch expenses. At the end, we need to sum up all the expenses which are shown on the debit side of this account, and all the items, the total of all these items will be transferred to the next account, which is branch profit and loss account, the balancing figure. The next account which is prepared here is branch adjustment account. This is very important account. So basically the branch adjustment account, this account is nominal account in nature because it depicts the gross profit. So any account which is prepared to calculate the profit, any kind of profit, whether it is a gross profit or it is a net profit, in that case that account is a nominal account. The items which are shown in this account is prepared to depict, to show your loading part. As we have done in the debtor system, we have prepared only one account, that is branch account. And in the branch account, when the branch account was prepared at invoice price, the loading part was shown in the branch account itself. But here we have segregated this in several accounts. That is, we have prepared branch stock account, that is at invoice price, then we have prepared branch debtors, branch expenses, and finally branch adjustment. So branch adjustment account, this account project only your loading part. So all the items which are projected in the branch stock account at invoice price, and the loading on all those items will be shown in this account. So as you can see on the credit side, stock reserve is appearing. This stock reserve is always shown for the loading on the opening stock. Whether there is a loading on the opening stock or loading in the closing stock, this is shown with the name stock reserve. So on the credit side, it is given stock reserve and it depicts the loading on opening stock. And how to show the loading in the closing stock, for that you can see at the end of this account, that is at the end it is given that on the debit side stock reserve is shown, and this is for the loading on the closing stock. So the next item on the debit side, as you can see, it is given to goods into branch. These are the goods which are shown in the branch stock account, that is goods written by the branch to the head office. And obviously whenever we talk about the goods, whenever we talk about the opening stock, closing stock, goods sent to the branch, goods written by branch, these items include the loading part, and loading has to be eliminated. For that we have prepared the separate account, and that the name of that account is branch adjustment account, and this account is shown with the name, this loading part is shown in this particular account. So on the debit side, goods sent to the branch, this this is for the loading on the goods which are written by the branch. The next item is again branch stock account, that is for the loading on shortage due to the abnormal loss. And then the next item is again branch stock, and this is for the invoice price of the normal loss. So basically in this account you have to show the loading part only. At the end you will be calculating the either gross profit or gross loss. So either of these two will be appeared in this branch adjustment account, and this gross profit ultimately transferred to the next account, that is final account, that is branch profit and loss account. So how to prepare this branch profit and loss account? The first thing which comes to our mind is what is the nature of this branch P&L account. The branch P&L account is nominal account in nature, and any account which the purpose of any account is to calculate the profit, then that account is nominal account in nature. So how to prepare this account? All the expenses, all the branch expenses are to be shown on the debit side. If there any abnormal loss is given, which we have shown in the branch stock, has to be shown here, but only cost part. Loading part always will be shown in the branch adjustment account. And if as you can see on the credit side, the gross profit which is transferred from the branch adjustment account is shown, and on the credit side, if any cash is received on account of any insurance claim, if any insurance claim is received, for example, it is given in the question that abnormal loss of rupees 4,000 is given, and we have treated that loss and we have shown that loss in both branch stock account and branch P&L account. But out of this loss, 4,000, 3,000 is received from the insurance company, so that will be treated as a gain, and this gain will be shown on the credit side of this account if it is received. So after preparing branch profit and loss account, net profit will be calculated. Either net profit will be there or net loss would be there. So if any of these two will be there, whether it is a net profit or net loss, ultimately this has to be transferred to the general P&L account of head office. Remember one thing, all these accounts are prepared by the head office in their books. Let's understand this stock and debtors method with the help of example. A Limited has its branch at Delhi and Agra. Goods are invoiced to branch at cost plus 50. The first thing which you need to see in the question is what is given in the question, that is it is given cost plus 50. So it is cost, let's assume cost is 100 and the profit percentage is 50, so the invoice price comes to 150. It is given branch remit all the cash received on account of anything, like on account of cash sales, cash collected from debtors, or any sale of fixed asset, has to be remitted to the head office. So what we are required to prepare? We are required to prepare all these accounts, that is branch stock account, debtors account, expenses, branch adjustment, branch P&L account. Even if it is not given which accounts are to be prepared under the stock and debtors method, so this is implied that we are required to prepare all these accounts under this stock and debtors method. So it is given here in this question that stock is appearing at invoice price, and this invoice price is 37,200. So this is the invoice price. The first thing which we need to see, the items which are appearing here, whether they are all at invoice price or not. As you can see, only the opening stock which is appearing at the invoice price, that is 37,200, but the other item which is appearing here, that is goods sent to the branch, which is appearing here at cost price, and this is 1,36,000. Before attempting the question, we need to modify all the items which are pertaining to goods, that is opening stock. See whether the opening stock is appearing at invoice price. It is. Goods sent to the branch, this is appearing at the cost price. This we need to convert to the invoice price. So 1,36,000, this is the cost price. 1,36,000 divided by 100 into what we need, we are aiming at invoice price, so multiplied with invoice price. The next item which we need to see, that is closing stock. Closing stock is not given here. Then other items, goods written by branch to HO. Unless until it is given in the question, it is assumed that these items are given at invoice price. So 6,000, this is also invoice price. So let's prepare this branch account at invoice price. So the opening stock which is appearing here is 37,200. This is at invoice price. So how to eliminate the loading which is included in the opening stock? Loading which is included in the opening stock has to be shown on the reverse side of this account with the name this stock reserve, but not in this account. As we all know, we are doing the stock and debtors method. Under the stock and debtors method, the first account which is prepared here is branch stock account, and this account is always prepared at invoice price. And the loading part which is included in the opening stock, goods sent to the branch, goods returned by branch, and the closing stock. These four items are shown at invoice price, and the loading on these items has to be eliminated. But for that we will be preparing the separate account, and that account is known as branch adjustment account. So in this question, the opening stock is appearing at 37,200, which is a invoice price. Goods sent to the branch, they were given in the question at cost price, but this branch stock account is always prepared at invoice price. So in that case we need to convert this. We have converted that from cost price to the invoice price. Goods which are written by the branch debtor are shown on the debit side. As you can see on the credit side, the cash is shown, cash sales for the cash sales, credit sales, or other items which are goods written by the branch to the head office. And there is a one thing is given in the question, that is shortage part. If any shortage is given in the question, that again has to be segregated into two parts, that is cost part and the loading part. As you can see in the question, it is given that is shortage of stock, and the shortage of stock is 1800. Again, shortage of stock is treated as like a abnormal loss only, and this has to be segregated further into two parts, that is loading part and the cost part. As you can see on the credit side, this load of shortage is transferred to the branch adjustment account, that is rupees 600, and the cost of shortage is transferred to the branch P&L account. At the end, balancing figure of stock is calculated. The next account which is prepared here is branch debtors account, and the branch debtors account is prepared in the similar manner as we have prepared this the other accounts. It begins with the opening balance. Credit sales are given in this question. If any cash is collected from the debtors, any goods written by them, any discount is given, that has to be shown on the credit side. At the end, we have calculated the balancing figure, that is closing debtors, we have calculated by preparing the branch debtors. The next account we have prepared is branch expenses account. This depicts the cash or expenses which are paid by HO. So expenses, if expenses are paid by HO, in that case entry would be branch expenses account debit to cash account. Always remember, if it is written only cash or bank, that means this cash depicts the name or cash of HO only. If it is written branch cash, that means this is revealing the branch cash, not head office. For head office cash, the term cash would be used. So the entry, these expenses are paid by the head office. Because of that reason, the entry is branch expenses account debit to cash account, and that is 21,600. For the discount which is given to the debtors, branch debtors are shown on the debit side. Ultimately, the total expenses which are incurred by the branch is 22,400, and all the expenses which are incurred by the branches 22,400 are transferred to the branch P&L account. The next account which we prepare here is branch adjustment account, and this branch adjustment account basically it depicts only and only loading part. In branch stock account we have prepared at invoice price, and the loading part would be shown in the branch adjustment account. So as you can see, the opening on the credit side, stock reserve is shown. So basically, stock reserve is always used for the opening stock and the closing stock. To show the loading on the opening stock, it is given 12,400. This reveals the loading on opening stock. As you can see on the debit side, the third item, that is again stock reserve, this depicts the loading on the closing stock. So for opening and closing stock we use the term stock reserve, and loading is always eliminated, it is always shown on the reverse side. If opening stock is shown on the debit side, the loading part would be shown on the reverse side, that is on the credit side. Closing stock is shown on the credit side, the loading part would be shown on the debit side. Goods sent to the branch, that is shown on the debit side, the loading would be shown on the reverse side, that is on the credit side, and with the this loading part only. So this is the way we prepare the branch adjustment account, and the purpose of preparing this branch adjustment account is to calculate profit. By preparing branch adjustment account, we calculate the gross profit, and this gross profit is transferred to the next account, that is branch P&L account. So finally, we prepare this branch P&L account, and the nature of the branch P&L account is nominal account. All the items, all the expenses are shown on the debit side, and if there is any abnormal loss is given in the question, the cost part of that abnormal loss is also shown on the debit side of this account. Then finally we arrive at the net profit, and this net profit which is earned by the branch is ultimately transferred to the general P&L account, general profit and loss account of the head office. So this is the way we calculate, we prepare all these accounts under the method, that is stock and debtors method. This is an alternate method. So what is the basically difference between these two methods of dependent branches? In dependent branches we have done with the debtors method, the first method, and the second method is stock and debtors method. What is the difference between these two? See, as such, there is no difference between these two methods. Both are the methods of dependent branches. You can adapt any of these two to calculate the profit or loss which is earned by the branch. But in debtors method, this method is generally adapted when the size of the business is very small, when the transactions are very less. Whereas stock and debtor method, this is a very comprehensive method. This is adapted when the transactions are very high. They are very high in number. And this debtors method, do not reveal. As we prepare only branch account in the debtors system, only one account is prepared. In this method, there is no scope to show the items which are related with the debtors, which are related with the normal loss, abnormal loss. Depreciation is also not shown in the branch account. Whereas this branch under the stock and debtors method, there is a scope to show all the items which are related with the debtors as we prepare the comprehensive branch debtors account, and we also depict normal loss and abnormal loss in the branch stock account. But at the end, both are the methods, but the profit which is calculated by these two methods is same. Whether you calculate the profit by preparing the branch account under the debtors method, or you prepare the several accounts, that is branch stock account, branch debtors, branch adjustment and branch P&L account under the stock and debtors method, are same. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.